Good morning, everyone. Glad to be back with you again. My name is Bob. I'm the teacher and virtues facilitator here at the Charles J. Andrew Youth and Family Treatment Center in Cheshire, Labrador. And we are, first of all, we're having a beautiful day. It's sunny out. It was a little bit chilly this morning walking, but refreshing. That's what I liked about it. So I hope everybody is doing well. And of course, no viruses, all right? We are working our way through the Family Virtues Guide. There are 5 strategies to the virtues. The first one was speaking the language of the virtues, and we covered that one. If you've been following my videos, of course, you know we covered that one already. Recognizing teachable moments was number 2. Setting clear boundaries was number 3. And we are now working on honor the spirit. The last one, number 5, will be offer the art of spiritual companioning. But right now, it's honor the spirit, and it's parent as a guide. The parent as a guide. I just want to mention, too, that, on my last video, for example, I saw 2 likes. Now, if you're wondering why I'm continuing to do these things, these videos when I only have 2 likes, what you don't see are the views, or I don't think you do. There were 64 views, so 64 people, or if, I know some cases there's 2 and 3 people watching the same time, that's considered 1 view. So people are watching it, which means that someone may be getting something that they can use in their families, and that's what's important to me right now. So this one, I have some pictures to show you on this particular episode of our little live video on Facebook. Okay, honor the spirit. Share your skills with your children. Share your skills. Parents guide children in many ways. One is by sharing their knowledge, wisdom, and skills. Allowing children to participate in meaningful activity, gently guiding them to master their own skills, takes time. Allowing a child to stand on a chair and cook with you, or giving a child a simple job to do in your workshop, is a precious and valuable use of parental time. The language of the virtues can be woven through these experiences. You could say, Mary, you showed a lot of determination today. You never used a wrench before, but when I showed you how, you kept trying until you got it. In giving children the freedom to explore their talents and abilities, you are honoring their spirit, their creativity, purposefulness, and excellence. Okay? I heard a story there just, not that long ago. There was a lady, I think she's a grandmother, and, she decided to go home and spend some time with her grandchild. And so she took work home to do at home, but she wanted to be with her grandchild. And the little girl was, very happy that Nanny was home, and she was filling up water balloons and throwing them around and leaving them all around the yard. And without thinking, I suppose, and being frustrated with some of the work that was being done, she got mad at her granddaughter. Now, her granddaughter didn't deserve that, did she? And instead, what she should have done was stopped everything she was doing and went and had some fun with the water balloons, even if she did get one broke on her head, right? But it would have been a lot of fun, So just thought I'd share that little one with you because I think a lot of us get caught up that way, We are, got to get the dishes done, right? So you're pounding away at the dishes and washing them and clanging and clinging and sticking them up in the whatever, And your little child comes over with a ball, bouncing the ball. And what do? Put that ball away, you're annoying me. we've got to stop what we're doing and spend some time with that child, okay? So I got some pictures here of, some of my grandchildren. And this one here, you'll notice I got 3 of them here, and they're helping me build a bench. Now, let me tell you, they're in the way, okay? They're in the way, but I didn't see it that way. I didn't bother, getting serious with the bench. I just allowed them to have fun. They had the drill. He was measuring the bench for me, and, there was Violet opening up something that I needed. And you see Eli in the background, and he's right involved. And what fun we had that day. That was amazing. I didn't get the bench finished, by the way, but I had a lot of fun. And here he is again. He's helping me put the bench together. I use wooden pegs, and he's driving into pegs for me. That's amazing. Of course, using a rubber mallet because he's pounding into pegs, right? I just loved it. And here's the bench. He's sitting on the bench. Isn't that amazing? He was so happy, so very happy. So I want you to give some consideration to that, stop what you're doing and have some fun with your children. They'll carry the stories on for the rest of their lives, right? Now, when he was younger, he was helping me rake the lawn. I was raking the lawn, and he wanted to help, so I got a rake for him. Gave him the rake. I would pile up the leaves. He would drag that through the pile and get it all messed up again. I didn't get mad with him. I had fun. I used to pile up the leaves so he could do that. It was a lot of fun. We really enjoyed that day. Of course, there's other things they do. Here's a couple of my granddaughters here, and they're right involved in making gingerbread cookies, I think it is. See the seriousness on their faces? How could you break that seriousness? How could you say anything? How could you bawl at them for making a mess? Yeah, they get chocolate all over everything, but guess what? You can wash it. Everything could be cleaned up. It's very difficult to clean up a broken spirit. If you say something to them, if you get mad at them for making a mess, you're going to break their spirit, okay? And our purpose today is to talk about honoring the spirit, okay? Not breaking it, honoring it. Now, of course, I had to show you this one. It's a bigger one. And she's putting cookies. They're already made, of course, those kind you get at the store. But she really had fun putting them on the tray. Look how she got them lined up. Absolutely amazing. She got to eat them too. She got to eat them as well. And there's other ways. Take this one out in PEI. Now, my 2 granddaughters here are a little older, because they're older now, but right there, they know how to ride a horse. Okay, they've been riding the horse each time they go to PEI. But their little sister needed their help. So look at them. They're holding on to the painter of the horse, or the whatever you call it. And she's upright happy because they're helping her. She's learning to ride the horse too, right? So again, instead of saying nasty things, they helped her. Isn't that amazing? I just loved it. So there's so much fun you can have, so much enjoyment you can have with your children and your grandchildren. If we would only stop and think and realize that they need us around. And when they have something that they want to share, we got to listen, okay? So another little section here says, share your family stories. The sharing of stories about your family and yourself awakens a child's sense of meaning. Knowing the virtues that are special about this family. For example, grandfather's courage, or great-grandmother's humor. One thing about a live video, I can't go back and correct that. Grandmother's humor. Bob's humor. Brings the spirit of family honor to life. It is very important that from their earliest years, you also listen to and draw out your children's own stories. Listening to their sleeping and waking dreams, just hearing them respectfully, honors children's growing spiritual awareness. It honors them as people of value. Dinner together is a wonderful time to invite each person to share the story of his day. Asking which virtue was involved enhances the teachable moments involved. And when you sit around the table to have your dinner or supper, or whenever you have your family meal, all cell phones and all of these electronic devices, put them aside, right? And if you have trouble with that, remember one of the consequences was to remove the item. Well, you can actually turn off the internet. Go poke that little button, turn it off, and just watch how they all come to dinner. It works. Now, a little exercise here. A family values history. Now, as creators of the culture in your home, as the architects of your family values, you have enormous influence in your children's lives. A code of values is an important part of spirituality. Values vary from family to family, but they are always present. Now, the difference between the values, of course, and virtues is that virtues are in all cultures, all religions, all families, okay? Values are those things which are specific, can be specific to families. Now, the virtues can also be values, but it's, for example, making sealskin boots would probably be a value in families on the North Coast. You know, Goose Bay, other places too, but for that particular culture. Whereas making moccasins may be a value in an Innu culture. You know, so values are specific to families and cultures. The values we acquire over the years, particularly in childhood, continually determine our choices as adults. You know, example of values, they don't have to be positive all the time. Here's one. Whether the family places value on being an efficient thief after 3 generations of thievery, or are working for world peace, children will pick up those values as their own. So sometimes, you know, you find out that, you know, people are doing things that are not nice, and we might get mad at them, or they may get arrested or put in jail. But if you go back through the history of the family, you may find that this was something that was happening all the time, and the child just learned to think that it was normal behavior, you know. So, they become the content of our personal code of ethics. They help us act responsibly or irresponsibly. They give our lives meaning and purpose. The process of growing up is one of integrating our values. This integration is truly an exercise in spirituality. The purpose of the following exercise is to help you identify the values your parents passed on to you, how you feel about those values as an adult, and to reflect on the values you wish to pass on to your children. Okay, so number 1, just listen to this and maybe you could give it some thought. When you were a child, what were some of the values your parents transmitted to you? What were some of the values your parents transmitted to you? What was most important in your family? And how did you know? You know, for example, was leisure important? Was education important in your family? Religion? So there's some of the things that you could be thinking about, right? And then, what the values are in your family at the moment, right? Number 2, to think about, what were the values of your family when it came to saving or spending money? Think about that one. If you grew up in a family where saving was important, you had to save, chances are that's what you do, you know? So it does make a difference. And the last one I want to mention here is this one. What place did God and religion have in your life as a family? What place did God and religion have in your life as a family? How has that affected your religious practices as they are now? So that's one for you to think about. Now, the virtue I selected for today, based on all of my pictures, I guess, was the virtue of helpfulness. Do not refuse a kindness to anyone who asks it, if it is in your power to perform it. And that's Proverbs 3:27. What is helpfulness? Helpfulness is being of service to someone. When you are being helpful, you do useful things that make a difference. Helpfulness can be doing something that others cannot do for themselves. Things they don't have the time to do are just little things that make life easier. You can be helpful to yourself by being sure that you have what you need. You can do things to help your body, such as eating the right foods, getting enough rest and exercise, or wearing clothes that will keep you from getting too hot or cold. There are times when you may feel helpless. That is a good time to ask for help from others. You deserve it. The part I would have to practice here is the asking for help. I remember I had a dryer to bring up out of my basement, and I knew people could help me, but instead of asking, I decided to take the dryer apart piece by piece and bring it up that way. So, and not to mention the Chesterfield that I had to bring down from the dock one time. I needed someone with a truck. What did I do? Well, I only had the car. I stuck 2 pieces of 2x4 out of the trunk of the car, put the Chesterfield across there, lashed it on, and drove it down that way. So I definitely needed to practice the virtue of helpfulness in terms of asking people for help. So why should we practice helpfulness? People often need help to meet their needs or get things done. Many things take the efforts of more than one person. If people didn't practice helpfulness, there would be no cooperation. We all need help at times, whether we are learning something new and we need someone to teach us, or we're doing a hard job and need someone else's strength or ideas. Sometimes we just need a friend to talk to. When people practice helpfulness, they care for each other. They make each other's lives easier. They are willing to cooperate to get things done. When people come together to help one another, great things can be accomplished. So how do you practice it? You practice helpfulness by noticing what people need. Look for opportunities to do a service for friends or people in your family, or even someone you don't know. When you are practicing helpfulness, you don't wait for people to ask you. You notice what they need and just do it. If you cannot figure out what someone needs, ask them, "How can I help?" Or, "Is there any help you need today?" People, including you, need all kinds of things. Sometimes they need physical help, such as carrying a package when they have too many, or setting the table, or cleaning the house. They also need, now this is important, they also need hugs, understanding, and appreciation. Sometimes the best help in the world is a listening ear. When people ask you for help, it's important to decide for yourself if what they ask is really good for them. If not, it's probably more helpful not to do it. An example could be somebody asking for money all the time, and you know that they're spending the money on drugs and alcohol. Well, maybe it's best not to give them that, but maybe to take over a plate of fish and brews, and at least you can feed them. But money goes, you're just enhancing the issue that they have, right? It's important to ask others for help when you need it. And remember, you can always ask God. What are the signs of success? How do you know you're practicing helpfulness? Well, you know you're practicing helpfulness, and congratulations, when you notice when someone needs help. When you do a service without being asked. When you give people what they need, not always what they want. When you listen to someone who needs to talk, that's very important. When you care for your own needs, that's also important. When you ask for help when you need it. And as you can see, they're all important, aren't they? The affirmation: I am helpful. I look for ways to be of service. I care for others and myself. I look for helpful ways to make a difference. And that is the virtue of helpfulness. And it makes the world much better when we all help each other. Okay, and just a couple of quotes here. This one in particular I really like. And this is anonymous, so we don't know who wrote this one, but it says, I expect to pass through this world but once. Any good thing, therefore, that I can do, or any kindness that I can show to any fellow creature, let me do it now. Let me not defer or neglect it, for I shall not pass this way again. Seems like it might have been something from Shakespeare or something in that last part, right? You know. No one can sincerely try to help another without helping themselves. And that's also unknown. Well, this one's by Paul McCartney. John Lennon and Paul McCartney, so the Beatles, right? Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends. Activity? Name 3 ways you could be more helpful at home. Name 3 ways you could be more helpful at home. When did you need help? And how did it feel when you got it? What was it like to receive help? Well, that's our video for today. That's our lesson, I guess, for today. And I hope, somebody gets some value out of it. And that's why I continue to do it, because I believe that's, some people do get something from it. Of course, the book is available on Amazon.ca, The Family Virtues Guide. You'll see the picture on there when you bring it up, and it'll look like this, but it won't be backwards. At least I can show a picture without, it didn't matter if it was backwards, but, Anyway, thank you very much for being with me. I appreciate it. So we'll be back again on Monday. And until then, stay safe, take care, and bye for now.